Hello and welcome to another one of my videos. This is the place to inspire and to be inspired. It's been a while since I've done a baking video and I feel like we're overdue. This time I'm not going to be doing sourdough. My starter has been sitting in the fridge for over a month and I should probably feed that today before it dies. But anyway, today we're going to be making strawberry lemon blondies. I feel like it's a summery treat and it definitely feels like summer in Florida. It's like 98 degrees every day. And this is the recipe I'm going to be using. I already wrote it down in my little recipe book, but if you decide that you want to make these as well, I will link it down below for you guys. I only have an 8x8 pan, not a 9x9, so we're just going to wing it and see how it goes. And on today's agenda, we also need to organize my craft desk. You know those ASMR organizing videos? I want to attempt to emulate that because I think they're so satisfying to watch. So maybe I'll do like a couple minute segment where it's like ASMR organizing. It's gonna be an experiment. Maybe I'll just become an ASMR channel. But before we get into organizing the craft desk, I think I should go to the grocery store. I need unsalted butter, fresh strawberries, and lemons. So if I go grocery shopping now, I can bring it home and let the butter get to room temp while we start organizing the desk. All right, we're on our way to the grocery store. We need to get our strawberries and our lemons and some butter. Okay, so before I actually open the drawers and start cleaning them out, I want to clean off the top of this. All these little creases and crevices, they collect so much dust. So I'm gonna go through, I'm gonna wipe this down really good, dust in between all the cracks, and then we'll open up the drawers and start organizing. And I'm just using a dry paintbrush to get into all the cracks and dust it before I start wiping it down with any products. I highly recommend using a dry paintbrush for dusting your cracks. This desk was a furniture flip that we did months ago, and I painted it this black color. The only issue with it is that it scratches up pretty easily, so there are a few spots that, even after wiping it down, it just needs to be repainted, so I'll probably eventually just repaint this, but for now, dusting it and wiping it down, it's good enough. We're gonna start with this side of the desk. This bottom drawer just has a bunch of random shit. I guess what I want to do first is lay everything out and then I can organize it into like paint supplies, sewing, etc. And then from there decide what kind of organizers I need to keep it all organized. A bunch of these little paints, resin, more paint, zipper, beads, a hot glue gun, some ribbon. On to the next one. And this one is all of my sewing stuff. I did not realize how much stuff I had stuffed in these drawers until I started pulling everything out. All I know is that it's going to feel so good to finally have my craft desk organized. So this is incredibly overwhelming for me. It's very overstimulating. So I think the first thing I need to do is just throw anything away that I'm not going to use. I want to get to a point where everything I have out are all things that I'm going to put back in the drawers. One thing about me is that I'm normally like the opposite of a hoarder. If I haven't used something in a few months or a year, my motto is just to throw it away or give it to Goodwill if it's in good shape, depending on what the item is. But I do not like holding on to things. that end up just collecting in a drawer. I just love getting rid of stuff that I don't need. I'm especially good at this when it comes to clothes. I purge my closet once a year. Over the years, I've gotten really good at only buying items that I think will actually be worn, not just things that I think look cute, but then you end up only wearing them once or twice. So I think I have my personal style down pretty well, where I know what items I will actually be comfortable in and which ones I won't. This is all of my crochet supplies, and these are all just little random hobbies and crafts. This is all of my sewing stuff. These are sewing patterns, scrap fabric, more patterns, and then just all of the supplies. This is my office stuff, which I usually keep in this top drawer because I do write in this notebook every day. And then this stuff here is my getting ready in the morning. So when I'm doing my hair and makeup, I usually keep all of that in this first drawer. And then this middle drawer I'm not touching because this is just all of my brushes and hair tools and flat irons, so that's just gonna stay where it is. And I think I'm gonna keep this one my getting ready drawer, and then this one will stay my office supplies, and then these two I'm gonna have crafts, and then this one I'm gonna have crafts. So now I have everything laid out that I'm gonna keep, and I got rid of all the junk. I think I cut down the amount of stuff I had in the drawers in half, which makes me feel so much better. I feel like this is a good time to start baking because the next thing we need to do for the organizing is go to Target and get some bins. So now we're gonna bake our blondies, and then while the blondies are cooling, that's when we'll go to Target and find our bins for the organizing. Preheat to 350. Now we need to get our powdered sugar out, baking powder, all-purpose flour, sugar. We're gonna need a cup of diced strawberries. I haven't done a lot of baking with strawberries, and I've never diced strawberries before, but I feel like it's pretty self-explanatory. I'm just chopping them up into little chunks. For me, it ended up being a couple handfuls of strawberries, but I guess it depends on how big the strawberries are and what you have in your area. We're also gonna need a 1/4 cup of lemon juice. I get the most juice out of my lemons if I roll them like this. That way when I do cut into them, it kind of breaks up some of that pulp, and it just makes it extra juicy, I guess, when you cut into it. And if you end up getting some seeds with your juice, it's not a big deal. Just use a fork and scrape them out. Okay, so we're gonna mix our butter with our sugar, and then we'll add in the eggs. And the recipe calls for 1 large egg, but we have, here goes the shell. We don't have large eggs, so we're gonna substitute and just do 2 smaller eggs. And now we're gonna add our lemon juice. And now we can mix our dry ingredients. 2 1/4. And a 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder, and a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And now we can start adding in the dry ingredients. And now we're going to fold in our strawberries. Okay, so right now our blondies are cooling. I did film me taking them out of the oven, and I accidentally deleted that footage, so I'm just gonna tell you guys, they're out of the oven and they're cooling. So now we're gonna run to Target. We're already in the parking lot, and we're gonna look for some organizers. In the little dollar section at Target, I found these bins, and then I found some other bins as well, and I figured these will be great. They're only like $3, But then I also found these bins and they had them in black. So I was debating, do I want to buy the black ones? Because the desk itself is black. So would it be cute if I had little black containers? But ultimately I just ended up going with the white or clear, whatever you want to call it. And then I found this little trash can, which I think is perfect for a desk. And I always have scrap fabric or scrap thread, but now I will have a designated spot to put my trash. So we have our organizers, and now I need to do a little test and make sure that they all fit in the drawers. And making all the pieces fit reminds me of playing Tetris. The first drawer I want to try to organize is going to be this one for my crochet supplies and my extra fabric. I was thinking of using these two bins and then using one for my yarn. And then one for my scrap fabrics. That looks good. And this one I want to use for all of my random craft supplies. And I was thinking I could use these long ones to put all of my colored pencils and markers in. And then these are stackable, so I can stack like 2 or 3 of them. Okay, so I've organized all the drawers and I got everything where I want it. And now that I know I'm going to be keeping all the containers, I'm going to remove them all and then remove the stickers from the containers. And then I'm going to put everything back in, but I'm going to attempt to film my version of like an ASMR organizing video. Lucky for you guys, this will not become an ASMR channel. So now for the rest of the drawers, I'm just going to show you guys how they look because I decided ASMR is not going to be my thing. I'll just go through all the drawers one time and just show you guys how I organize them. Is it perfect? No. But is it better than it was before? Yes. So for this top drawer, we have our little trash can that we got from Target. And this bin has all of my cords, my little sticky notes, and this is just like random miscellaneous stuff, and my notebook and my pens and markers. And then my sewing drawer, I have all of my sewing stuff in here, my clips, my pins, all of my thread, more pins and needles, and this is all different types of elastic. I figured I would just keep them all together. And then my pedal. And then for the miscellaneous craft drawer, I have my colored pencils, random string, all of my jewelry supplies. I have 3 stacks of these. So I have pencils, markers, paintbrushes, Actually, the very bottom one is my polymer clay supplies. And then this little guy for cutting paper, beads, random wooden knobs, and paints. And then if we come over this way, this bottom drawer, I have my crochet supplies. This is for punch needling, but I figured it would kind of go with the crochet supplies. And then I have my patterns back here, scrap fabric, and then some more scrap fabric. And now she's nice and organized. So this is how we're looking so far. We need to make our icing. Icing calls for a cup of powdered sugar, a tablespoon of strawberry puree, which it says is about 2 large strawberries, and a tablespoon of lemon juice. So I'm just gonna put these babies in here. So we already have a cup of powdered sugar, and I'm going to mix my tablespoon of lemon. We're going to do a tablespoon of the puree. A little bit more. And now we're just going to add this to the top. I don't know if this is too runny or if it's okay, but we're just doing it. Okay, ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, pick a piece.
Actually, I'm gonna take the little one.
Cheers.
Okay, cheers. Whoa. You don't like it?
It is good. Overall, I would rate it a 7.5 out of 10. Although it was good, it was just a little bit too sweet and a little too dense for me. But in case anyone is interested in trying this, I will list the recipe down below. And that is all for this video, so thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next Friday.